Okay, so today I'm going to show you some things that you'll want to keep in mind if you decide to replace your heater core or AC condenser in your Chevy Malibu. This is a 2010 model. I think this body style went from 8 up to 14 or 15. I can't remember when the crossover year was. And I also know, I think 8 was a partial year. So first thing you're going to want to do, clamp off your heater hoses. They make tools. I use these vice grips. Down in here, trying to get some light down in there, you want to unhook your heater core hoses and also your AC lines. So you want to vacuum that out. Take your battery cover off, unhook your battery, take off this reservoir so you can get down to it. I'll tell you right now, those heater core hoses, the first time you do it, it's going to be a pain because they put the heater core hoses on at the factory and they are almost inaccessible unless you have the remote cable for taking off those quick clamps. It's this tool right here. As you can see, we work on a lot of Chevys in this shop. I wonder why that is. So you really need that tool, because if not, you ain't going to get those clamps off of there, because even with the clamps, it took me forever. Also, there are 2 bolts down there surrounding the hole that go through the firewall into the heater box. These are them. Those are the only bolts on the outside that hold the heater box to the firewall. Then you want to come in here. This is the assembly that the heater box bolts to. You will have some hoses, actually not hoses, but ductwork you'll need to unhook down there. I did not do it the pretty way. You have 3 bolts on each side that unhook this from the assembly. Then there is also a bracket down here that holds a computer that has 2 bolts on each side that will need to come out, and also a couple of bolts in here. Then you'll want to take out your steering column. Before you take out your steering column, you'll want to take out your cluster and all of the trim along the console and your glove box, all of that. It's fairly simple. There's a blue zillion of these little screws that holds the dash cover and some of the trim pieces in. I'm not going to go over how to go through all those, except for these right here, which are very important. As you can see in the top of this, there are 5 of them, okay? There's a trim piece that snaps down over the dash cover that's right here. You have to snap that out to get these out to take your dash cover off. As far as the airbag covers for the side rails, you got to kind of wiggle them around to get those off. Because basically it just makes it a lot easier to pull those out. Now, once you've got your cluster out and your trim piece up here, you got that piece out. Now you got to take your radio, your heater controls, all of that stuff. It's just a bunch of screws. Lower down your steering column. There we go. your steering column, because there's a long bolt that goes right through here that you have to take out, and then these two pieces right here, 2 bolts right here. Now, as you can see, one of mine's missing because somebody been into this before and lost it. These do fall out. So that's why I recommend when you're putting it back together, do not put your cluster in until you have your steering wheel completely bolted back in. This is an 11mm bolt that holds this steering column in. It just slides off of the shaft. So you can take that out. Now let's go under here. So I've got some of this put back together. You will need to take your accelerator pedal out. You will need to disconnect your brake pedal from the shaft and take those 2 bolts out. And then if you can see those 2 bolts right there, and then you can see there's one there and there's one there. Well, guess what? There's 2 up above there. They are a pain to get to, and they take a while. They have to come out in order for this whole assembly to come out. Do not do what I did and try to take this brake assembly out. Leave it bolted in. There's 3 bolts there that hold it to it, as well as 2 on each side. Leave those in there. Don't mess with them. They will stay in place. They will not interfere with your ability to pull this dashboard. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, as far as your wiring goes, you do not need to unhook all of this wiring from the dashboard. You can leave it all attached because there are basically 4 plugs right here. This goes up to the speaker in the post. Here's your airbag connector. Here's one of the main connectors. There's one on each side. And then I think this goes to the dashboard somewhere. But basically, you do, and then, oh yeah, and your antenna. You do not have to undo all this wiring. Same thing on the other side. It's all made to come apart. It's almost like they knew stuff was going to fail. The reason for the replacement on this is a blend door actually broke off and blocked the heat from working. And it was the blend door that blocked off the defroster. So not only did it not have any heat, the air blew up off of the windshield all the time. So pretty much useless in the wintertime. I'm not going to tell you how to put it back together. I'm not going to tell you in detail how to take things apart, but basically your bottom trim all comes off first. Then you take your radio and your heater controls out. Then you work on your cluster. Then the trim piece across the top along with the 2 posts. Then your dash cover. Your steering column, and then go underneath. The first time I did it took me like 3 days. Right now, I'm into this about 3.5 hours, and I'm putting it back together. So hopefully this will help somebody. It's not for the faint of heart. It's going to take a lot of work, and you better have power tools that will enable you to get fasteners out fast and in fast. So work on your own crap. You can save yourself some money. But sometimes like this, it ain't easy.